Yesterday I educated the kids about building their own computers. Now I will teach them about digital storage solutions. It seems like this kindergarten has been repainted. Let's see if my students are present. Yes, everyone is present. Alright class, since everyone is present with 2 additional students who were not present in the previous video, let's begin today's lesson. I know I promised a test, but fuck it, let's make it harder. So I decided to teach you about storage solutions before I hand over your tests, so make sure to study for it.
Storage solutions will be our next lesson. The test will be so hard.
Chill down, Gina. The test will be easy. This topic is just too easy for me.
Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet.
This is not a singing class, Arthur. Stop singing the Arthur theme song now.
Shut. And let's begin today's lesson, or I will call all your parents and will tell them to ground you.
Oh no. I will get grounded if any of us will pull out the match.
That is right, Kailu. Now let's begin. Lesson number 2, Storage Solutions. In the world of IT, storage is one of the most important aspects because we have to store our data somewhere, like on a hard disk or optical media. Without the most important storage device, the hard drive or the solid-state drive, we couldn't even install operating systems on our computers, rendering them unusable. The very first storage solution ever is the punch card, but let's skip this one since they're so fucking large and nobody uses them in computers. First chapter, the magnetic storage devices, floppy diskette, superdisk and a hard drive. The most used commercial storage device in the 80s and 90s were the floppy diskettes. They have been produced in different physical sizes and capacities. Their sizes varied from 525 to 3.5 inch in chronological order. The 525 diskettes held 720 kilobytes of data, whereas the 3.5 inch diskettes held 1.44 megabytes. Floppy diskettes have a magnetic circle inside and they hold the data. External magnets hurt them. They are read by a floppy diskette drive, and before the CDs being widespread, they were the portable storage devices. Superdisks aren't very different, but their data density are much larger, so they achieve 240 megabytes. Hard drives are internal storage devices and are used for storing data and installing operating systems on them in computers without SSDs. Their data density is very large compared to floppy diskettes and superdisks. They also work with magnetism. Since all digital storage devices hold binary data, HDDs also do. Hard drives have platters inside, and actuators read and write onto them. They are very sensitive to dust particles, so an opened hard drive is already dead. The actuators move in a semicircular pattern when reading data from the platters and writing to them. Each platter has 2 actuators attached to them, so both sides are used. The platters spin in a variety of speeds depending on the hard drive's form factor. Laptop HDDs range from 4,200 RPM to 5,700 RPM, and this results in a ridiculously slow data access. PC hard drives are faster since their platters spin with the speed of 7,200 RPM, and server hard drives with their 10,000 RPM are even faster. They come in varieties of connector types. The very first is SCSI, then IDE, then SATA. Laptop HDDs are created with a 2.5 inch form factor, and PC HDDs are 3.5 inch form factor. This is very important to note. Laptop IDE connectors look different than PC IDE connectors, so they are incompatible with each other, and HDDs have moving parts, therefore their speed can be increased further.
Interesting. Is there a faster alternative to HDDs?
Yes, and that's called an SSD. And SSDs are not only faster than HDDs, but they're also quiet. Since HDDs have moving parts, they will always emit noises. Second chapter, Optical Storage. There are the CDs, the DVDs and the Blu-ray discs in this category. They're all read and burnt by lasers, hence the name optical disc. CDs use infrared laser with the wavelength of 780 nanometers. They come in two different capacities, 650 megabytes and 700 megabytes. The 650 megabytes CDs hold 74 minutes of audio, whereas the 700 megabytes CDs hold 80 minutes of audio. Please note that we're talking about the recordable CDs, not the pressed ones. They are made with cyanine or phthalocyanine dyes with silver or gold reflective layers. This also indicates the quality of the blank media. The phthalocyanine dye CDRs are inferior, so make sure to buy the blue cyanine dye CDRs, as our dye uses cyanine and toluidine also use cyanine to produce CDs. CDRs contain ATIP and TOC segments. ATIP informations tell the burner the type of disc, the material it's made of, the manufacturer and the available burn speeds. ATIP also tells the laser what kind of strategy to use for burning. Phthalocyanine CDs use long strategy, whereas cyanine CDs use short strategy burning. TOC means table of contents, and this serves as a file index so the burner knows where the files are located on the disk. So if you open a file located on the center of the CD, the laser will jump there and will read that area. TOC prevents the drives and players from unnecessary searching. DVDs are similar to CDs, but they are made from slightly different materials. And let me tell you a very important difference that makes DVDs more resistant to damage than CDs. The data layer on a CD is beneath the label layer, whereas on a DVD the data layer is sandwiched between two thin polycarbonate discs. I will not include dual layer and plus discs now. I'll talk about the DVD-R discs, but please keep in mind that DVD plus R and dual layer and even dual side DVDs do exist. The basic DVD is a DVD-5 type of disc. They hold 4.7 gigabytes of data or 120 minutes of DVD video like a full-feature movie. They use a 650 nanometer wavelength red laser. Instead of ATIP, they use LAN preprint informations to determine the disc type, the material, the available burn speeds, etc.
What is a Blu-ray disc?
Blu-ray discs are expensive versions of DVDs, but jokes aside, this is an optical disc with larger capacities like 25 gigabytes or 50 gigabytes in BDXL. This increased storage space is achieved by using a 405 nanometers wavelength blue laser. They are scratch-proof and the data layer is on the bottom. Unlike in CDs and DVDs, Blu-rays are used for full HD movies. Third chapter, Flash devices. Flash storage devices include USB thumb drives and SD, microSD cards alongside with SSDs. MicroSD cards are the smallest of them, so let's begin with these. They are common in cell phones and their data density is extremely high. They are considered fast. SD cards are found in cameras and they are also available in different capacities. Micro SD and SD cards have different variants, like the standard micro SD with the maximum capacity of 2 gigabytes. Micro SD-HC with a maximum capacity of 32 gigabytes. Micro SD-XC with a maximum capacity of 2 terabytes. And Micro SD-UC with a maximum capacity of 128 terabytes. They are just small flash chips in cell phones and cameras, yet they hold so much data. Next up are the USB flash drives. They are bigger than microSDs but also faster and more suitable for computer usage. They are small NAND chips between plastic or aluminum housing. The capacities and sizes vary. Their speeds are better than that of micro SD cards. USB thumb drives are great for storing school projects and other not-so-sensitive data. They aren't the most secure storage out in the market. And lastly, we arrived at the solid-state drives, also known as SSDs. They are like bullet tanks. They are fast, they use VNAND chips, and they are also reliable. They are the next-gen hard drives. They come in two different form factors, namely the SATA 3 and the M.2 NVMe.
What is the point of using SSDs instead of HDDs? Are people impatient nowadays?
To answer your question, this is not quite the reason but rather a technology advancement. If you tear apart an SSD you will see multiple VNAND chips inside without any moving parts, rendering them completely silent and reliable. They are also more resistant to damage. Fun fact: the condition of an SSD will be reported in HD Sentinel as gradually degrading, whereas the condition of an HDD will always be reported as 100% if there's no problem. Defragmentation can't be performed on solid-state drives as data won't become fragmented, unlike on hard disks. Initially SSDs were expensive, but nowadays their price-performance ratio is much better than 10 years ago, so more people install them in computers to replace HDDs. Or they use their already existing hard drives as a secondary internal storage. Class dismissed. Goodbye and have a nice day to all of you. This day is over. Now I'm gonna leave. What do you think I'll do next? To be continued on